Asterisk. Asterisk. When a woman walked into the studio, she saw Prince Rogers Nelson. Asterisk. Asterisk. But when the recording was done, a different name appeared on the album cover. Jamie Starr, or Christopher, or Joey Coco. Why would a genius hide his real identity? Because it wasn't just the name being hidden. When the Bangles reached the top with Manic Monday, the world didn't know it was Prince's song. When Chaka Khan won a Grammy with I Feel For You, she accepted the award alone. When Sheila E got caught up in scandal over the radio band Sugar Walls, Prince stayed in the shadows, but the real scandal was backstage. Every song had a price. Every melody had a cost. And Prince played this game with dozens of women, until one of them finally revealed the truth. Before you watch this story to the end, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, because the dark secrets of Prince's life, the biggest scandals in music history, are coming to light on this channel. Autumn came early to Minneapolis in 1982. Conflicts with Warner Bros. Had reached a peak. The company wanted to control his music, but Prince wasn't about to share control with anyone. The solution came from an unexpected place: invisibility. If the name Prince Rogers Nelson belonged to Warner Bros., then he'd become someone else. That's how Jamie Starr was born in 1982. Not just a pseudonym, but as a completely separate identity. In 1983, when Vanity 6's Nasty Girl came out, Jamie Starr was on the cover again. 3 young women. Prince had reshaped Denise Matthews with the name Vanity, danced on stage as sex symbols, while the real control was Prince's. His relationship with Vanity was much more than professional. But when Purple Rain film auditions started, everything fell apart. Vanity wanted the female lead role. Prince wanted control. The argument escalated, and Vanity left. Prince's response was cold. Within weeks he found 19-year-old Patricia Cotero, renamed her Apollonia, and replaced Vanity. Everything written for Vanity transferred to Apollonia. When the world watched Purple Rain, nobody saw Vanity's pain. By mid-1984, a new name echoed in the music industry: Alexander Nevermind. Sheila E was a Scottish singer, known for sweet pop songs, until Prince gave her Sugar Walls. The lyrics weren't sweet at all. Radio stations banned the song. Tipper Gore cited it as founding reason for the PMRC, claiming Sugar Walls referenced the vagina. She was right. But the cover read Alexander Nevermind, not Prince Rogers Nelson. The scandal grew. The song became a hit, and Sheila entered the most controversial period of her career. But Sheila didn't know. Prince was showing the same attention to other women. His relationship with Susannah Melvoin peaked in the mid-1980s. Susannah was Revolution guitarist Wendy Melvoin's twin sister. Prince wrote Nothing Compares to You for Susannah Ness, describing separation's pain, but he gave it to the family. Susannah never sang it. Years later, when Sinéad O'Connor performed it, the song became a worldwide hit. Nobody saw Susannah's tears. In 1987, Prince and Susannah separated. She'd been his muse for years. Nothing Compares to You was written for her, but she never sang it, given to others instead. In the 2000s, Susannah finally spoke. I heard the songs he wrote for other women after he left me. The same lyrics, the same melodies. He was saying the same things to all of them. This revealed the dark side of Prince's process. He wasn't just a musician, he was a manipulator. He used women as inspiration, then moved to the next. When Prince changed his name to an unpronounceable symbol in 1993, the world was shocked. But for Prince this made sense. Warner Bros. Owned the name Prince, but the symbol was free. He'd actually been doing this for years. Jamie Starr, Christopher, Alexander Nevermind, Joey Coco, all were Prince's freedom manifesto. He was hacking the system, appearing to follow rules while doing what he wanted. And the women, they were part of this game. Prince gave them songs but controlled them. He replaced Vanity with Apollonia. He gave Susannah's songs to others. He'd shaped Mayte since she was 16. Every woman was part of Prince's vision, but none were the whole. Prince constantly searched for the next perfect woman but couldn't find her, because he wasn't looking for a real person, but a dream. A projection. In the early 2000s, another voice rose. Jill Jones, who did backing vocals on Prince's tours in the 1980s. Prince saw her when she was 15 at Tina Marie's concert. From that day, Jill became part of Prince's world. But what kind of part? In 2019, Jill's former assistant made an allegation on social media. Jill and Prince's relationship started much earlier. She wasn't even of age yet. The allegation was deleted, but screenshots spread. Jill never responded. Her lawyers announced no comment, but former Paisley Park employees talked anonymously. In 1982, Jill was 16, Nesty 17, and Prince had special interest. She'd stay in the studio for hours, sometimes at night. Minnesota's age of consent is 16, so no legal issue. But psychologically? A 23-24-year-old man influencing a 15-16-year-old girl, writing songs for her, shaping her career. That's called grooming. Jill never spoke, but her silence said everything. When her album came out in 1987, she wasn't around, avoided media. The album flopped, and Jill withdrew from music completely. How many other Jills were there? Susannah was 14 when she met Prince. Mayte was 16. Anna Garcia, Mayte's cousin, was 19, and allegedly when she got pregnant, Prince denied paternity. The Anna Garcia scandal was never clarified. In 1995, she was a backup dancer. Months before his marriage to Mayte, Anna became pregnant. Prince prevented DNA testing. His lawyers took action. Anna signed a confidentiality agreement, received $500,000. In 2018, Anna gave an anonymous interview. "My son is now 23. I know he's Prince's son but can't prove it. I'm fighting for a DNA test. I want a share of Prince's estate." Prince's family denied these claims. Dozens claimed to be Prince's child. None verified, they said. But Anna's lawyer insisted. There's a confidentiality agreement, payment records, photos. If there's nothing, why was so much money paid? In 1990, Prince met 16-year-old dancer Mayte Garcia on his Germany tour. He wrote her letters, sent cassettes. The grooming process began. When she turned 18, in 1991, he hired her. They married in 1996. Mayte was 22, Prince 37. He wrote "The Most Beautiful Girl in the World" for her. On October 16, 1996, their son boy Gregory was born with Pfeiffer syndrome. Died 7 days later. Prince refused to accept reality, wanted Mayte to deny it happened. A month later she miscarried. They separated in 1998, divorced in 2000. After years of silence, Mayte published a book in 2017, "The Most Beautiful: My Life with Prince." She told everything, the relationship beginning at 16, Prince's control obsession, the baby's death, the marriage's collapse. She hadn't published while Prince was alive. It came out a year after his death. When Sinéad O'Connor covered "Nothing Compares to You" in 1990, it became a phenomenon. The video showed Sinéad's face, tears streaming, pain so real millions cried. The song stayed #1 for 4 weeks, reached the top in 17 countries. Everyone talked about Prince's genius. Nobody knew the song's real story. Sinéad had never met Prince when she recorded it. Then they met at a party. Sinéad thanked Prince for the song. Prince looked at her strangely, and didn't speak. Later Sinéad criticized Prince in media. His attitude toward women, his control obsession. Prince got angry, and a years-long coldness began. When Prince died in 2016, Sinéad posted nothing. Her silence spoke volumes. There's a steel vault in Paisley Park's basement. Inside, over 8,000 songs, completed albums, music videos, studio recordings. Prince obsessively recorded everything. When a melody came at 3 a.m., he'd go to the studio, record it, vault it. Some songs were never heard, some played once and forgotten, but all were there, archived, cataloged. When Prince died in 2016, The vault's doors would finally open. But first, other doors cracked open, and what poured out was more disturbing than music. April 21st, 2016, 9:43 a.m. 911 call. A person at Paisley Park isn't breathing. First responders found Prince in the elevator, dead. The autopsy showed fentanyl overdose. But one detail shocked everyone. The amount in his body was 6 times the lethal dose. Kirk Johnson found Prince to his 30-year assistant, closest friend, Paisley Park manager. Kirk called 911 but too late. Prince had been dead for at least 6 hours. But when FBI investigation started, disturbing questions emerged. Messages on Kirk's phone. Reports said Kirk's phone had correspondence with people obtaining medicine for Prince. Names weren't disclosed, but FBI questioned them. What was shocking? Hours before Prince's death, maybe days before, Kirk removed valuable items from Paisley Park, music equipment, recording devices, documents. Why? In 2018, FBI closed the investigation inconclusively. Nobody arrested, nobody charged. Official statement: Prince accidentally took fake Vicodin pills mixed with fentanyl. Who provided the pills couldn't be determined. Many didn't believe this. Why wasn't Kirk talking? Why hire a lawyer? Why no media statements? A source said anonymously, Kirk knows everything. Who gave Prince the pills? What happened in final days? What was removed from the vault? But if he talks, either he's blamed, or Prince's image is ruined. He doesn't want either. Conspiracy theories exploded. Was Kirk avoiding being a scapegoat, or really protecting Prince? The real bomb dropped in fall 2016. The vault's doors opened with cutting tools. Prince hadn't shared the combination. The team was shocked. Over 8,000 songs, 40 completed albums, 50 music videos. But these were expected. The unexpected: private recordings. A former Paisley Park sound technician gave an anonymous interview in 2020. There's not just music in the vault. There are audio recordings of Prince's private moments with women, studio sessions, backstage conversations, intimate moments. Some should never be heard. Estate managers never commented, but they were very selective about materials released. When Original's album came out in 2019, it only had demo recordings Prince gave others. Nothing Compares to You, Manic Monday, Jungle Love, Safe Choices. But according to former employees, much more disturbing materials existed. One source: Prince would sometimes record studio sessions with women but not tell them. The recording light would appear off, but was actually still recording, without their consent. If true, never verified. This was serious violation. But Prince was dead. Nobody could be questioned. His family was determined to protect his legacy. When Primary Wave purchased half the music rights in 2022, there was a secret clause: some materials in the vault will never be released under any circumstances. Which materials? Why? Nobody knows. Prince left no will. 6 siblings emerged: Tyka Nelson, and 5 half-siblings. 45 people total claimed to be relatives. Most shocking: Dwayne Nelson, Prince's half-brother, who Prince had obtained a restraining order against, Tuster wanted estate share. The 6-year battle cost $45 million in legal fees. In 2022, the $156 million estate was divided. Primary Wave got half the rights. Tyka Nelson died in 2024 at 66. The 6-year court battle had worn her down. In 2020, Netflix announced Ezra Edelman would make a Prince documentary. Edelman directed O.J. Made in America, won an Oscar. The Prince documentary would be over 10 hours, full access, vault recordings, private archives, family interviews. Released 2023, but 2023 came and went. In 2024, Netflix quietly canceled it. Official statement: creative differences. The truth? A source said, the estate saw what would be shown, and panicked. Too much scandal. Too many dark details. It would ruin Prince's image. The estate used veto power, and canceled the project. In 2025, an estate-approved documentary was announced. Critics called it whitewashing. Would the real Prince story never be told? In 2023, Sheila E. gave an interview about Prince. Her answer was clear: no regrets, because he made me a better musician. But then she added something never said before. Prince proposed to me in 1984, but there were conditions. I had to stop music, at least my solo career. I could only play on his tours. I had to tie my identity to his. I refused, and he never forgave me. This illuminated something. Prince's marriage proposal wasn't love, it was control. Mayte Garcia accepted and lost control of her life. Sheila E. refused and preserved her freedom. Susannah Melvoin never received a proposal because Prince never considered marrying her. He only saw her as a muse. And Sheila dropped another bomb. A few months before he died in 2016, Prince called me. He said he wanted to apologize. I wronged you, he said. I wronged other women too, but I couldn't change. I can't change. He was crying 2 months before his death. Was this Prince's final regret, or just a moment of weakness? Today, Paisley Park is a museum. Visitors tour Prince's studio, see stage costumes, admire gold records, but they can't enter the vault. The steel doors are still closed. What's inside? 8,000 songs, 40 albums, 50 videos. We know these. But what else? In 2022, a former employee spoke. There are 3 sections in the vault. The third section, things no one should see. Prince recorded conversations with women without consent. If true, never definitively proven, this was serious privacy violation. But Prince was dead. Nobody could be questioned. The estate announced it would never release these materials. Why? They said to protect Prince's legacy. But the real reason might be protecting other women's privacy and preventing possible lawsuits. In 2023, a lawyer said anonymously, if the private recordings are released, dozens of women could sue. Unauthorized recording, privacy invasion, emotional trauma, compensation could reach hundreds of millions. The estate can't risk that. That's why the vault's third section might stay closed forever. But some things leaked. An audio recording hit the internet in 2020. Who leaked it? Unknown, showing Prince talking with an unidentified woman in the studio. The woman was crying. Prince was comforting her. Then the recording cut off. Who it was never determined, but voice analysis showed it was recorded in the 1990s. In 2024, Mayte Garcia again requested DNA testing. Estate refused. In 2025, her son filed his own lawsuit at 29. Genetic experts found the photo similarities astonishing. The estate refused again. If children emerge, the 6 siblings' shares would decrease. Conspiracy theories exploded. Why is the estate resisting so much? What if there are other possible children, and the estate must deny them all? The inheritance was divided among 6 siblings, but if children emerge, they'd be priority heirs. The 6 siblings' shares would decrease. Maybe that's why the estate was blocking DNA tests. After 8 years of silence, Kirk Johnson gave an interview in 2024. Just one interview. He spoke to no other media. What he said showed Prince's final days in new light. Prince was really bad the last 2 years. Kirk said, he was addicted to painkillers but nobody knew. I knew, but what could I do? When I suggested help, he refused. God will heal me, he said. Because he was a Jehovah's Witness, he refused rehab. Then Kirk gave the bombshell detail. When he passed out on the plane on April 15, 2016, I was with him. Naloxone injection was given, opioid overdose protocol, but Prince refused to stay in the hospital. I want to go home, he said. Doctors suggested addiction treatment. He refused again. Kirk continued. On April 20th, I called Dr. Kornfeld, an addiction specialist. He said he'd send his son, would come on April 21st, but too late. On the morning of April 21st, I found Prince in the elevator. I knew instantly. He was gone. But Kirk didn't say one thing: who gave him the pills. In the FBI investigation, messages were found on his phone. Who was Kirk talking to? The interviewer asked, but Kirk didn't answer. I can't talk about that, he said. For legal reasons. Legal reasons? Still in 2024? Or was Kirk hiding something? A source: Kirk got immunity from the FBI. He talked, but his statements were kept secret. If he talks, he could be charged himself. That's why he was silent. But the vault's darkest secret emerged in early 2025. A former backing vocal artist named Not Given contacted a lawyer. The allegation was shocking. In 1992, I was 17. I was called to Paisley Park for backing vocal recording. Prince was in the studio, just us two. We recorded a song, but then he made strange requests. I felt uncomfortable and wanted to leave. Prince said, recording's still going. Sound is great, but the recording light was off. The woman continued. Years later I realized the recording never stopped. Prince was secretly recording everything that happened that day. Our conversations, my discomfort, the requests I declined. All were recorded. And now it's somewhere in the vault. The lawyer approached the estate with this allegation. Demand: all recordings in the vault should be examined. Recordings with the woman's voice found and destroyed. The estate's response was shocking. There are millions of hours of recordings in the vault. Impossible to examine them all. And we can't destroy recordings based on unfounded allegations from former employees. But the woman didn't give up. In mid-2025, she filed a lawsuit, not just on her own behalf, but on behalf of all women who recorded at Paisley Park between 1985 to 2010 inches. Allegation: Prince systematically recorded women without consent. There are hundreds, maybe thousands of hours of private conversations, intimate moments, and declined request recordings in the vault. If the lawsuit succeeds, still in early stages, the vault might have to be completely opened. Independent experts would examine every recording, determine which women were recorded without consent, destroy those recordings. But the estate is resisting. This would end the vault. Prince's musical legacy would be destroyed. Here's the real question. What's more important, musical legacy or women's privacy? Can we overlook violations women endured to celebrate Prince's genius? Or should we expose everything and face the real truth? In 2024, the Bangles gave a concert. Susannah Hoffs was 65, but her voice was still strong. When they started playing Manic Monday, the crowd stood up. The song's lyrics were still relevant. It's just another Manic Monday, I wish it was Sunday. But for Susannah, the song's meaning had completely changed. After the concert, she said in an interview, "This song isn't Prince's anymore, it's ours. We've been singing it for 40 years. Millions know it by heart. Prince wrote it, but we made it big. And now Prince is gone. But the song is still here. Maybe that's our revenge." Revenge. The interviewer was surprised. Susannah explained, "Prince gave us this song, but it wasn't really a gift. It was a control tool. I gave you a hit, now you owe me," he'd say. But over the years we realized we don't owe him. He owes us because we were the ones who introduced his song to the world. And Susannah continued, "Prince gave songs to dozens of women. He thought he controlled all of them. But in the end, the women won." Mayte wrote her book. Susannah Melvoin spoke up. Sheila E. told the truth. Vanity died without forgiving him. Prince expected our silence, but we spoke. Did the women really win? It's debatable, because Prince is still a legend. His music is still played. His albums still sell. His legacy is still celebrated. But at least now we know the full story. Not just Purple Rain and Purple Rain. Also the tears, the traumas, and the women whose lives were forever changed. Jamie Starr, Christopher, Alexander Nevermind, Joey Coco, these names are now in the past, but their effects are still here. In every Manic Monday we listen to, every Purple Rain we watch, every Nothing Compares to You we remember, Prince's shadow is there. But now women's voices are also heard. Can we separate art from artist? Prince manipulated women, but his songs inspired generations. Maybe the answer is this: celebrate the music, but don't forget the women's pain. Because in the end, the story isn't just about one genius. It's the story of dozens of women. Some spoke up, some stayed silent, some are still waiting for justice. And maybe in the future, Prince's legacy will be remembered, not just as the creator of Purple Rain, but as an example of power imbalance in the music industry. At the end of 2025, the estate made a new announcement: selected materials from the vault would be released in 2026. But when the list was announced, everyone was disappointed. Safe choices again: instrumental recordings, alternative mixes, demo versions of known songs. No risk, no scandal. What about the private recordings? Files made without women's consent, Anna Garcia documents, Kirk Johnson messages, Jill Jones letters? The estate was clear: these will never be released. Prince's legacy is his music, not his private life. But maybe someday someone will speak. Maybe someone with access to the vault won't be able to live with their conscience and will leak it. Maybe it will be opened by court order. Maybe Anna Garcia's son will win the DNA test and gain legal access. Maybe the class action lawsuit will succeed, and independent experts will examine everything. The vault's doors may stay closed forever, but we can no longer listen to Prince the way we used to. Every song carries a woman's story, because every song has a story. And now we know not just Prince's story, but the women's stories too. Jamie Starr, Christopher, Alexander Nevermind, Joey Coco, all these names were Prince's attempt to hide. But in the end, what was hidden came out. The truth always comes out. Sometimes it takes 10 years, sometimes 30, but sooner or later, the masks fall. And the real face underneath is sometimes much darker than we expected.